Two wizards, one card. That's our theme song entrance right
That's it. You'll be happy to know that Howard Shore is cool with us using the music.
there.
It's copyright, but it does
Yeah.
not demonetize, which
Yeah.
is fucking.
If
Thank
anybody else
you,
tried,
Howard Shore.
Yeah, thanks, Howard.
You are the dude.
We're back at it. We had a little hiatus there for a while.
Well, we had that ice storm, we had Ice Mageddon,
Yeah.
and then we had like kind of a cool week, and then we had Snow Mageddon.
Plus, my mom grounded me for eating all the Totino's pizza rolls.
Dude, she's
All
gonna
the
start.
Totinos.
Just don't get those Mama. Like I'm all for the Aldi shit, but do not get
They're
those
gross.
Mama Casio ones. They have
Mama
like
Cozy.
Mama Cozy. That's it. The frozen Zaz.
Yeah,
they're dope.
Okay,
but the pizza rolls suck, dude. The sauce is like spicy, but in all the wrong ways, if that makes sense.
Listen, if we're talking about Aldi
let's talk about Aldi.
Aldi, like their brands of stuff. Mama Cozy, I can never eat a Mama Cozy product ever again.
I can do the frozen pizzas because they're similar to they're like a Jack's, but a bland Jack's.
Yeah,
you gotta doctor them up. What you gotta do is you gotta do hot sauce underneath, then you put the extra mozz and an extra cheddar on top, and then you sprinkle your parm on it and do it all before you put it in the oven.
Yeah.
That way the parm bakes in, and this hot sauce bakes in, and it sort of spreads through the sauce.
Yeah.
So it's not like one bite's hot, one bite's not, one
evenly
bite's hot.
distributed.
You don't want that shit. You need consistency.
I like to put a little
Cracker Barrel has taught us nothing. It has taught us be consistent.
Well, I like to put a lot of salt. I put a little bit of salt on frozen pizzas.
Yeah. Just pinch
of salt on the frozen.
It zings shit up a little bit, you know.
A little sodium intake from the pizza.
Yeah, I mean, well, you need those. All growing up, they were like, "Hey, salt. Oh, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad."
Yep.
And now they're putting salt in water because it like turns out salt fucking helps you digest water.
Yep.
Or absorb water. Yeah, absorb.
I do think
I don't know if you digest water.
The self checkout kind of ruined some of the fun at Aldi because you used to look forward to the competitive grocery tossing that they do in your thing. They would just sit there and throw your groceries.
Dude, they still have the one on Patton still has one checkout lane.
Yeah, but
they always open.
They don't work with the efficiency of
it's not like they
be like this. It'd be like this: tomatoes, avocado.
I will say,
bread, eggs.
You can tell the difference. You can tell that Aldi takes care of their people better than the rest of the grocery stores because all these people are always like chill and they're always down to chit chat and like. Whenever I go in there, there's one lady at the Aldi on Patton.
Yeah.
And she's covered in tats and short hair and she's cool as shit. And we just talk and I'm like, hey, how's your day going? Da, 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 da. And she's always down to chit chat about whatever. You go to like Ingles, no offense to our producer, Kendall Ingle, zero relation. And and they're grumpy. And they're like, it's either some grumpy old person or it's some like kid that's just like buried in their phone. They haven't talked to anybody in 4 days and they're trying to make it to 8 days.
Well, the reason why they're happier at Aldi is they allow them to sit down at work.
Also, they pay them more.
They sit down though.
They start them at like damn near $20 an hour, which I know nowadays isn't insane, but it's like $3 an hour better than Ingles, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Ingles is charging you twice as much for your groceries. Riddle me that.
Yep.
Why are you charging more and paying people less?
Yeah, Ingle, what are you to say about that?
They also don't realize those Starbucks employees there, they're not actual Starbucks employees. It's
in-house position.
Well, what do they say? It's like it's a franchise. They're franchise. So they don't get paid Starbucks wages.
Yeah.
They don't get the benefits. They don't get the tuition reimbursement.
They also they don't make Starbucks drinks though. You order it from there, they always suck. The drinks always suck.
And you can't use like certain kinds. I don't know, maybe now, but like you couldn't use the certain kinds of gift cards and stuff because they're like, oh, we're not actually Starbucks. I'm like, then why does it say Starbucks on the front?
Yeah, it's a big scam. Well, so do you think they have Starbucks in Westeros?
I think they would if they could.
You know what?
You never.
What am I talking about Westeros? I'm talking about Game of Thrones, and we're talking about Lord of the Rings.
That's true. I mean,
what about the reason
we're talking in complete stories, not.
The reason I was thinking about not Lord of the Rings, the other one.
No offense to George Martin, but finish that shit.
Okay, so the reason I even brought this up is because
I'm gonna have a sip.
I have had. So I don't know how you feel about the Game of Thrones situation.
I mean, it's fine.
I feel like I wasted 8 years of my life and got cheated on at the end.
I quit
That's the way
after
I felt.
I quit after the mountain killed homie.
When he killed Pedro
Yeah,
Pascal, I was my favorite.
yeah. When he killed Paris, I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I think it was what, season like
Crush his
4.
head. Yeah.
After season 4, I just kind of lost interest.
I gotta be honest with you. You
And then
checked
I
out at
asked
just
my
the right time.
Yeah, and I asked my buddy, and he was like, "Yeah, it was a good time to
Yeah.
just." I filled in the rest of the gaps with like Insta
Sure.
clips and like YouTube. I'm like addicted to YouTube clips. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I don't like Facebook clips because it scrolls this way and not up and down. So when I try to swipe to go back,
Mhm.
it just keeps going to more clips that I don't want to see.
Yeah. No
Like,
thanks.
so I do the YouTube clips. Or I do, and I mean, basically, the entirety of my internet viewing is dachshunds, anything Tolkien related, and
Mhm.
like skateboarding and
Mhm.
BMX.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's the
I have,
algorithm.
I have carefully curated my social media presence for 20 years now, and I've got it where I want it. Small wiener dogs, Tolkien, and skating. That's it. That's all
funny.
I need.
That small wiener dogs could mean two things. Like there's a dog with a small wiener or small dachshunds.
You ever seen a
So-
dachshund?
Yeah, but there's a dog.
They ain't got
If you have a
small
dog
wieners.
with a small wiener or a
Mm.
small wiener dog,
Is that relative or is
it
that
just
like
means it's just one of those things that means two different things.
yeah, like you imagine if like a Labrador had like a wiener like a Chihuahua, that'd be weird.
Boy, oh boy.
I feel bad for that boy.
Well, size doesn't matter in the dog world.
Hey,
so they
good
say.
news! You got your spoon,
I got it back.
flute, spoon flute. You gotta fill.
Hey, how's it going? We're making an awesome show about Lord of the Rings. Are you a fan? Oh, nice.
Hell,
What's that? Nice. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
yeah.
So-
That's Brad Dolph.
Yeah, I'm Brad Dawson,
Brad-
bad
Brad-
wizard.
Brad
got
the
magic
bad wizard.
powers. Hey, so the reason I brought up the thing about Westeros, which
Or-
is not,
Yeah,
is because
well, no,
I just watched the Kingdom. What's that? Water?
What?
No, you gotta
they got
talk to
water at
Ellie
the
over there.
bar.
Yeah.
Oh, you drink it. That was
Interesting. Okay,
Anyway,
so a little off-camera excitement.
Westeros.
So Westeros. The reason why I brought it up is I watched the Night of the Seven Kingdoms show that just came out.
How is that with the
It
little bald
is
kid?
awesome.
What's the deal with the little bald kid?
You
Is that
have
like
to watch it.
Is that like Thunderdome? Like
No,
like
it's all part
Master
of,
Blaster?
It's all part of the plot. He's a squire. He's a squire.
Oh, it's not like some Master Blaster
No.
shit. Like I'm the brains, he's
Yeah.
the brawn.
It's a really good show.
Oh, Tina Turner. Now I'm thinking about
Yeah.
Tina Turner.
I just watched Thunderdome the other day.
Mm.
That movie starts off bad, and I'll
Thunderdome.
tell you why. It starts off with a Tina Turner song, like you're like getting into some kind of and then it goes Mad Max.
Yeah, it's kind of
It
strange.
is my least favorite Mad Max.
I will
movie.
say it's grown on me over the years.
like it.
But it took a long time for me to be like, oh, this
Yeah.
ain't like some cornball shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is okay.
I like it.
It got the first two did, but dude, Fury Road is the jam.
It's awesome.
Fury Road to me is Mel Gibson did a great job in those first two, but Fury Road with Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, dude, that is like to me that is if I'm gonna show if somebody's like what is Mad Max,
Mhm.
I'm showing them Fury Road.
I'll say that
Yeah.
I would. Here's my ranking.
Furiosa was a really good one too.
My ranking is the original Mad Max,
Yeah,
Fury Road,
yeah.
Road Warrior,
Ooh,
then Thunderdome, then Furiosa.
really? Thunderdome ahead of Furio? Is it? It's because it's Tina
Thunderdome is
Turner.
the only reason Thunderdome is bad is it's too polished. It's too Hollywood.
Yeah, it's too clean.
it's too clean.
You
So they have
don't.
too much of a budget for
You
it.
don't feel. It doesn't feel grimy like
No.
it should.
No.
Like an Australian wasteland should feel a little more dirty.
It was
you know?
good, and it's much more. They spent a lot on the budget and everything for that movie, so it looks
Yeah.
polished.
Well, yeah, because they Hollywoodified
Mhm.
it, and then
Yeah.
and it was just
It just looked polished.
It was like the same problem with a lot of the those in them 80s bands whenever it says it's overproduced.
Mhm.
It was one of those. It was
Over-
overproduced.
yeah.
It was too clean. It was
Too clean.
It was just too much.
Didn't look gritty enough.
No, it's like go get yourself a VX 1000.
Well, the
Get a
first
little
two,
grain in
yeah,
there.
The first two Mad Max movies, especially the first one, was so low budget,
Yeah.
and so
Well, that was
it-
basically an independent film.
But the reason why it works is because it's like the low budget works with the whole aesthetic of the movie,
Yeah.
and so that works. And then part two, Road Warrior, is a good. It's good, but that's after the nuclear bomb goes off. So the first one is pre-nuclear
Yeah,
war,
that's right.
and then the second
Because
one's
the
post-nuclear
first
war.
one is the one where
His family gets killed.
his family gets killed and they run over his little boy.
Yep,
which
and they
is-
kill Goose,
they kill Goose.
but
Okay,
then he revenges Goose.
what's worse, homie dying in Top Gun, or
Goose
the
in Top
kid or
Gun?
Goose?
The Goose and Mad
The
Max. had it
Goose in
worse.
Mad Max, I think, was
He was
more,
all burned up. Remember they showed his
It-
hand popped
It
out.
was. I think that hit. It hit.
You know that
harder.
part?
It hit harder.
Yeah.
It was
Like
like
he was like when Goose got ejected, he hit his head. Who cares? You know. The other guy got burned. He was still alive in the hospital.
like, and it's also like
a meat
Top
slab.
Gun Goose. He signed up for that shit.
Yeah.
Like that was he knew.
To be
he-
fair,
he
Goose
knew.
was a cop.
That's true,
Yeah,
but
they were cops, but he got burned alive. And he
yeah,
was,
dude,
but
that's.
do you remember
I can't
how?
think of
do you
much
remember
worse
how
ways.
horrible? Do you remember how Mad Max paid him back though? The guy that killed him.
No.
He handcuffed him to the car that had the gas leak. He said he could either hack off his leg or
Burn
die.
up.
Yeah, and
He
then
gave that was like Saw before Saw.
yeah, it was cool though how
I
they
wonder if
filmed that.
homie that made Saw saw that and was like,
it's an
"Ooh, how
Australian
can
guy.
I?"
Yeah, Australian guy made Saw.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
two Australian
maybe
guys.
there's definitely there's got to be some influence.
But it's the greatest shot of that is when like they never show him blowing up.
No.
They show Mad Max get in the car and drive away and the explosion in the back.
they
It's
just
awesome.
give you the you
they
got to
show-
use your
see the-
imagination.
Yeah, you see the poop of smoke behind him. Like, oh, he didn't get away.
But like with Tolkien stuff, like like the Tolkien stuff, he describes a lot of stuff heavily,
Yeah,
but he leaves a lot to the imagination.
Yeah,
Like and that's I think the beauty of like some of that good art is like giving you just enough to let your imagination run wild.
that's the problem with modern, especially movies today. There's too much going on.
Like, what does Brad Dolph do after he's done with this? We don't really
Nobody
know,
knows.
but we have an
Nobody knows.
imagination. We can wonder.
You can only wonder what I do. I won't be
Does he
eating
go
Totino's
home
pizza
and
rolls though.
does
that's
he
for
go
sure.
home? Yeah, we know he might be making incense, but we know he ain't eating Mama Cozy's.
No Mama Cozy's,
Pizza-
no Totino's,
so
nothing.
That's one of those few things where I gotta go to a regular grocery store
Yep.
and I gotta get the real ones because
No.
they just ain't the same.
My mom's upset.
Real with what?
I ate all the
Aldi?
Totino's.
Oh yeah.
I
The
can't get more
50 bag,
pizza
that thing's
rolls.
gone
I just-
already?
Yeah, well, when I
God.
get into it, I can't stop. You toss those
Yeah.
in the air fryer.
I know how that works.
Delicious.
We getting so we're moving in a new place, and I told Bridget, I said we got to get a microwave because there ain't a microwave, and we tossed out our old one years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna get one of them like they got at West at Elevated Kava Lounge.
Yep.
West.
Our
down
sponsor.
on Haywood, above the Thai Pearl. Jam.
Be there.
But they make microwaves that are air fryers now too.
Yeah, that's the
So
best.
you just change the setting, and I guess, and like our homie Jaden said, he's like, it's a pretty good air fryer. He's like, it ain't perfect because it's not an air fryer,
Yeah.
but he's like, it's solid.
Yeah.
It gets the job. He's like, if you want to cook some Totinos or rewarm a piece of air fryer is the best for reheating a piece of pizza.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, there's no other way. There is no that is the way.
Yeah.
Other
no,
than
no.
maybe like if you're camping and you put it on a piece of metal and you warm it up over the campfire, that's the
Yeah.
jam too. Because then you get the bottom crispy again.
So I have put it onto a pan on the stove and I cook it and flip it.
Ooh, flip it.
Yeah. So I cook
But
the
how
che-
does the cheese?
it stays on for long enough. You do the cheese part first.
Just
get
a minute.
just
While it's
and then turn it
cold.
over. Yeah.
So
when it's
before
cold.
just before it melts,
Yeah.
then I gotta
You
try
turn-
that.
Yeah, it worked pretty good.
I need to get one of them things that you put over like bacon and stuff, so that the smoke doesn't go everywhere,
Yep.
and the grease. And mostly it's the grease. The grease like shooting everywhere. Just then
Yeah,
then
yeah.
it's like, okay, now I not only I gotta do dishes, I gotta wipe grease off of my oven.
No fun.
And then dude, that's gonna be the title of my first. I tell you, there's gonna be a title of my first book. It's gonna be called "Cooking Bacon Naked and Other Poor Life Choices."
Boy, oh boy, you get some of that bacon.
Number 2 is gonna be
some of
called
that splattery bacon.
yeah, and
grease
then
on
Bridget
it.
came up with the title. The second one's gonna be called "Oh shit, the dog's too high."
Can you imagine Penny all jacked up,
All hepped up on goofballs.
popped up on reefer dope?
Fucking reefer dope.
Reefer dope. So anyway,
Yeah. So
you
what's
had
been going on with you in the
w- well you
since
had
all the weather and
well
all that?
you had mentioned something about you coming up with a new Elven language
Oh
of
yeah,
some
well it's
sort.
not. It's so I started. So my wife, we were sitting down and we're watching something on TV. I can't even remember what it was. And she was like, "You want to do an activity?" And I was like, "Yeah." So she grabs a jar of rice
Hmm.
and some scratch paper, just like note like drawing paper.
Hmm.
And she's like, I'm like, what do we do? And she's like, you just put the rice down and then trace around it and draw a map. And I was like, that sounds cool.
Hmm.
So I put the rice down and drew this map. And as you said before, when I start something, I can't stop.
Yeah.
So now I've got this cool map. And I'm like, well, it needs mountains, it needs rivers, it needs something. So
Inhabitants.
so I start drawing rivers, and then I'm finished with that and like doing this and little islands and
Well, so
stuff.
what? Like, give me what's a couple names of the rivers you got? You got any names of the rivers or
Uh,
anything? You
y
named them? The
oh
mountains called
god.
anything?
Yeah, there's like I'll have to bring
I'd
an
love to
image.
see it.
Our friend Marina, who
Yeah,
is awesome.
great artist.
Yeah, if you need an artist, Marina, I'll put her.
She's known to wear elf ears.
I'll put her Instagram link
Yeah.
in the comments on the video. She's a killer artist, and she took my drawing and she scanned it in and she's gonna digitize it and then do it all with the art program y'all use.
Hmm.
And she's gonna do that so I have like a nice thing, and then I can start amending it. And then
Yeah.
yeah, and then I start naming the name. And then I'm like, well, this mountains need a name. These mountains need a name.
Yeah.
This desert needs it. Like, what's this? What's this? And then I was like, so I start like developing like a backstory for this land and like
Hmm.
what's this about? What's this about? And then I was like, I always wanted to develop a language, but I'm not a linguist. I'm not, I have a
A
tenuous
cunning
grasp on what
linguist.
an adjective, a verb, and a noun, and all
Yeah.
that nonsense. But I'm relearning it. So I took a say what you want. I took a Gemini model and I trained it, and I said, you are to be my partner in this. You're just a linguist. Like give me opinions that a linguist would give me on developing a language,
Sure.
making sure we're not doubling things up, shit like that,
Yeah.
and the sentence structure. So yeah, so I started. I was like, well, the biggest thing for me is like Tolkien's, Quenya and Sindarin, and it's very hard to learn because it's a completely constructed
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
So like when you're pluralizing something, sometimes you're changing the middle of the word, sometimes you're changing the beginning of the word,
Ooh.
sometimes you're changing the end of the word. It's beautiful, it's poetic, but it's the learning curve is so incredibly steep. And so I was like, I want to do it in a Western sentence structure. So, you've got, the spotted dog jumps over the fence,
Yes.
not like the dog with spots,
Jumps over fence
the
dog does.
fence he did,
Jumps over fence dog does.
like, yeah, because that's
Yes.
I
Like
figured
Yoda,
I
Yoda
figured
talk.
like 90% of the world knows English as a second language.
Yeah.
That's probably a high percentage, but most parts of Europe and stuff, they start teaching that in grade school as your second language.
Hmm.
And I was like, I want something that's easily to relate to. So even if you see the sentence structure, you don't know what the words are, you can still get a vibe for what's going. It doesn't feel totally alien. So I started doing that and getting deeper and deeper and develop. And now I've got like a skeleton. I've got the pronunciation system figured out. I've got your basic. I'm not doing anything like industrialized world verbiage because
Yeah.
it's not going to apply. And the people in the world. But I wanted something too where you can see the clear evolution to a mannish traditional Western language.
Hmm.
It shows like it's not a stretch. You look at like Sindarin and there is no like, oh, I can see how this became uh English. I can
Hmm.
see how this became it's like there's no connection. So I wanted it to feel like, okay, this is an ancient language, but I can see how it got here.
Yeah.
And and yeah, and I'm working on that. I've
So
got
have you got it? Do you have an alphabet down?
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm taking an opposite approach. What I'm doing is I'm flushing out the whole language first. And then I'm going to probably work with my wife, who's amazing. I'll just say it.
He always says
I
it.
can't. I always do. Hey, you talk up the people who and she deserves all the talk. And I'm gonna work with her and develop like an artistic, you know, alphabet. So I will have the English alphabet, normal,
Hmm.
A through Z. But then I'm gonna develop a 24 letter alphabet's 24, right? Not 26. My brain keeps saying 26, but I think it's 24.
Hmm.
Anyway, not really, doesn't really matter. But
I don't know. I can't even read.
that's the biggest problem with
Yes.
this show is that
Yes.
homie can't read.
I'm a watcher.
That's why we can't use cue cards.
I'm a watcher, baby.
But like,
26.
and then I'm gonna develop an artistic alphabet so that way I can do it later on and I
Yeah.
can put that in.
Now, do you have any words that you know are that you're gonna? These are words.
Oh
like,
yeah. No, I've got
Some basics. You give us a little bit of teasers here.
I've got a very like taur is taur, but it's like taur. So like the A's are short unless they have an accent over them. Then
Hmm.
it's an elongated A.
Yeah.
There's no. It's soft vowels with hard consonants, so it creates a poetic dialogue. So it sounds it's a little more sing songy.
Yeah. Yeah. So in the world you're building, is this going to be one? This is going to be the universal language of
Like
that world.
sort of, it's going to be the poetic ancient
Yeah.
language,
Yeah.
and so people speaking that, but you still have this poetic old language,
Hmm.
and so like it'd be like uh immortal would be like the dark forest,
Yeah. Cool.
stuff like that,
Yeah. That's
but
cool.
I'm super pumped on it, and it's like I'm really having fun with it, and the way I'm learning it and teaching it to myself as I go, because even if you're making it, you still got to start committing it to memory, and
Yeah.
you got
Well,
to work that
it's a
muscle out.
language.
So what I'm doing is I'm developing it, and then I'm also transcribing it into one of my tomes. I love these journals that are made of parchment
Hmm.
paper because it's just it's an
Feels ancient.
yeah, it's an
Feels like
aesthetic.
you're writing something
It's
important and
different.
like
Like
it's going to be around forever.
I can go get a journal for $3 from the grocery store, but and there's a company. I'll put the link in the comments in the description. There's a company. It's called like something Leather Works, and they do soft, nice tanned leather covers. They're
Hmm.
woven old school through the back, so it's in how they did the old ones. It was in chunks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like 12-page
Like a
chunk, 12-page
codex.
chunk. Yeah, and then they're woven cross on the back, and I'm transcribing it into that as I develop it to sort of. I'm one of those people like when I write it,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
helps. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to even go read it back. Like I was always lucky in school. Like as when I took the notes,
Yeah.
that was what helped me commit it to memory. And then instead of going through it and reading it, I would retranscribe it from my notes
Uh-huh.
to just sort
Good
of
learning method.
burn things
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. Of course.
And then
Well,
once I have a language, then I can, and now I'm starting to develop stories because
yeah. Yeah.
names are popping
Well,
up.
what's your like? Okay, so as far as like fantasy characters like this, there's some standard beings that inhabit these worlds: elves, dwarves,
Yeah,
humans. But what else? Like, I mean, there's like I said, there's generic types of these characters.
yeah.
How are yours going to be different? Have you even thought about that?
Like I don't want to. I want it to be more focused on mortal beings. I want I don't want to say immortals, but whatever they end up being, I want them to be more rare instead of it being like elves are the shit
Yeah,
and then there's everyone else. I want it to be more. I think it'd be more relatable.
sure.
And like I've got one dude now who's like he's raised in this sort of plains. It's in the northern part
Hmm.
and it's more plains and it's snowy and things like that. And he's raised there, but like he's always felt like he needs to figure out where he came from
Hmm.
because he was just a product of like there was I think maybe there's a war or something,
Sure.
and he ended up with these people and he grew this simple life, but like something's wrong, and then he wanders and he goes to the desert and he finds this river village and like meets someone, ends up staying there for some
Sure.
time. And it turns out that he's really good with metals and blacksmithing. He's not magical, he's not some amazing
Yeah.
fighter, but he's got a
You got skills.
gift that he figures out, and
So
like,
do
yeah.
in the world you're creating though, you foresee like magic spells and things like that?
Yeah, I think
Dragons,
I think mm, I
maybe.
think I want to do I think I want to stay away from flying dragons and more like the worm, like
Yeah.
WYRM, like ground-based dragons, but I want them to be uh intelligent, not just giant
Well, Smaug is
lizards of
intelligent, right?
destruction. Smaug's very intelligent,
Yeah.
but he's also intelligent because Morgoth made all of them.
Gotcha.
And
Oh yeah.
the
Oh,
theory is that
Morgoth.
they're like the theory is that they're bastardized eagles, and that's how he got flying stuff. And they're bastardized eagles.
Really?
And yeah, well, because I mean, what else is there?
Eagle bastards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, well, like the same way he took elves. The orcs are the first elves that were held captive by Morgoth.
That's right.
So everything, because that's the whole thing. Morgoth can't create life. He can only manipulate what Eru has already created because he doesn't have the flame
Yeah.
imperishable in him. He doesn't have that, or like in Transformers, what do they call it? The Allspark. He doesn't only Eru has that, and Morgoth is that Luciferian type character where
Manipulate.
he's jealous of the ability to create life because he's the strongest of the Valar, but he's not he's not that.
Yeah.
There's only one thing that can create from
So
nothing.
so he basically took the drag or the eagles and somehow would they
That's
like
sort of the
cast a
theory. I
spell
don't think
or
he ever really expect. Yeah, he manipulated them through his power,
yeah.
and and he's it's the fallen angel type thing. It's not a
Yeah, yeah.
groundbreaking thing,
No.
but the spin he put on it and shit is different.
Yeah, the fucking
So
dragons.
it's
So you're going with ground-based dragons
yeah.
with
I think I'm gonna
intelligence.
go with groundbreaking. I don't like. I find like
Will
I
they be
remember
aggressive to people, or are they kind of more like wise things that people go visit?
I think I want it to be on a case by case basis.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be I don't want to do anything with like a dark lord and something. I'm not interested in that. He's already done it. That kind of like pure good and pure
Yeah, yeah,
evil and everybody kind of hangs out in between.
yeah.
I don't want to I don't want to try like it's been done so many times.
So I will say that the one thing that Game of Thrones really did is you never really knew who a bad guy or good guy was because everybody had
That is
qualities
because
of self-preservation that you were
Mhm.
like, well, I can understand why they do that.
Yeah.
There was no, I mean, they're clear there are bad people in that series, but everybody showed traits of good and bad and questionable moral
Yeah.
decisions. In Lord of the Rings, you're right. It was clearly good versus evil.
Yeah, and then
That's it.
you have that gray area in between, but everyone has that sort of a very firm moral compass.
Yes. Everyone knew who the good guys and bad guys were.
And I think that was kind of his thing. Like he wrote a world that could never exist because you'd never have that like this is good, this is bad, and then nobody's a world of people that are always willing to do the right thing and
Well, it's crazy to think that after he when did the Lord of the Rings, when was it released?
early
The
early
book.
mid 40s, I
So
believe. Through Kendall.
After World War II.
We'll see if our
It's after, I
producer
think we looked at
Kendall.
this
It was
before.
after World War II,
So it's crazy
but
to
he
think
started
that
developing it in like 1915,
yeah.
16 was when he started really. What was it? 54
So
was the release.
almost 10 years after World War II. Think
Yeah.
about how that he must have, like, having lived through the Great War at the time, which is World War One.
Yeah,
Then, like World
which
War
he
II,
was in.
World War II, there's a direct understanding of good versus evil in that.
Yes,
And for him to have seen that, that must have been very,
but
very
still, there was
interesting.
moral ambiguity with like the Vatican took a stance of uh
Yeah, yeah.
they were kind of like
Well, the Vatican's
we're gonna
evil,
stay
bro.
out of
I don't know
well,
what to
yeah,
tell you.
that's yeah.
They suck.
If they weren't
They
evil,
suck.
they'd show us what's in the fucking
Yeah,
basement.
they suck.
I want to see what's in the basement. Yeah. Yeah, well, but that was only writing the stories. He was developing the world and the language decades before that. I mean, it was you'll never see it again.
Yeah.
Something like that. He dedicated his life to it. I mean, among other things, but it was this thing, and it was ever evolving and ever changing. And you know,
Well, that's obsession
there's
for you.
something beautiful about that. 1917, yeah.
And that was
Yes. That was the one I was talking about that I found, the book One of the Lost Tales. And you can see where it started. The names aren't totally flushed out, the worlds aren't flushed out, but you can see that structure. And
yeah,
like,
what he's going for.
and that's what's so great, I think, about his thing too, is like he left such a good paper trail
Yeah.
that you can see that evolution and his process.
Well, in order to come up with that story, it would take you can't think of that overnight. It's
No, and it
just,
came about. I mean, before that, you basically had the only thing you really had was like like the old like Merlin and the knights
yeah,
around
you
it.
had some old
That was
historic, yeah.
really and a lot of it was he based a lot of it in old Scandinavian Norse
Mhm.
tales, the Germanic Norse
Yeah.
tales, and some of it in other. But it really there wasn't a whole lot of. I appreciate
That
that
genre
like
really wasn't a thing, huh?
he never let his own personal religion, like he never let his Catholicism
Mhm.
sort of bleed into the work.
At all.
Like the only thing he put into the work really of his personal was obviously his World War One experiences. There's a lot of that with Mordor and the trenches and
Sure.
the hardness of
Well,
war.
just like the aesthetic of
But the only
Mordor.
thing really was like him and his Baron and Luthien. I mean, he's Beren. His wife Edith was Luthien.
Yeah.
Even on their tombstones, it says it has Luthien under her name, and it has
Mhm.
Baron under his name, because that was their love story. That was his way of sharing his love for her,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's awesome.
How old did he live till?
I died in I believe 72.
So
And he lived a good long life.
80s at
Maybe
least?
Kendall can tell
Yeah.
us, but we got to
I
get a
don't
mic for Kendall. 73.
73 years old?
Yeah,
Oh, so
81.
he's 81.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
and then because then Christopher took up his work, and then the Silmarillion came out several years after that. He finally compiled and got the Silmarillion published, and then he did, Children of Húrin, Lost Tales, Tale of Beren and Luthien.
I wonder what other kind of I wonder what
Huh?
other the
Oh
Green
yeah, and
Knight.
he does if you like the story of the
But
Green
there's a
Knight,
Martin
the
Lawrence
old
movie.
story. No, he did his own. Oh
Black
yeah,
Knight, oh yeah.
he did a translation of the Green Knight and retold it sort of in his style,
Yeah.
and it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well,
lived to 95 years old.
His
Martin
son,
Lawrence?
Martin Lawrence,
Martin!
he's still alive, dude.
God damn it.
Remember when he was trying to lose
Christopher Tolkien.
Christopher Tolkien? God, he does not. Christopher Tolkien does not get enough credit for the work he did. Could you? I mean, imagine he's still like the original maps. Christopher went through them and detailed them and made them more artistic,
Mhm.
and made the maps and the visualization of the world.
Added a Chuck E. Cheese onto it.
Yeah, he enhanced it. But to go through your father's notes and
Mhm.
letters and all of that stuff to figure out and compile it to the best of your ability the way he
No,
would
legacy.
have done it, like that is, I mean, that was his life's
His
work.
legacy.
That
Everything.
was
I wonder though, during that time period, what other books in this similar genre had come out? Was there anything like? Was there
really
sword and
wasn't much.
fantasy books back then?
I don't
I
think
don't know though, right?
Silmarillion
No,
days?
but yeah,
Silmarillion,
like
I
what?
mean, yeah,
No,
but
like I'm talking
but
about like
outside of
in
Tolkien,
the 40s and
like
50s. What other books would fantasy people find to read at that time?
fantasy, I don't know, but like you had the only other thing that really strikes me is like when you had like Lovecraft's
Sure.
short tales, because another one who essentially invented a genre.
Yeah.
Stephen King even says he's like Lovecraft, for better or for worse. We all know he wasn't a perfect human, and we'll leave it at that. But he invented that idea of nothing. No, he wasn't popular. He only got notoriety because after because he
Yeah.
was so scared to put himself out there. He only got notoriety afterwards. His friend got pushed to get all of his stuff published
Yeah.
after he passed away.
Yeah.
He was one of those where his he was like a Nick Drake, where he didn't live to see like the fruits of his labor
Yeah.
and all of the influence it had, but the idea of like the unknowable thing, you know, these the Cthulhu cult and the old gods, and there's stuff that like you can describe them,
Mhm.
but you know, it's that fear of the truly unknown.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
that's the only
when-
I'm
when-
Ironically, it states that despite written in the 40s, it was not published until 77.
what
Silmarillion?
Silmarillion, yeah. Well, that was like his. They say like that was his life's like that was his ultimate thing, was to sort of create this, for lack of a better term, this sort of Bible or Quran of
Yeah.
his world and like the ancient history going up, because it does, the Silmarillion does describe the events of the third age and the fourth age, you know, after the Lord of the Rings, but it's condensed, obviously. It's just it's like more of a historical timeline account. It's not the in-depth
Yeah.
ness of the books,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the
The
trilogy.
detail.
Yeah, or the Hobbit,
Yeah.
you know, the trilogy, you know.
Well,
But yeah,
okay, so but I keep on I keep on trying to like wrap my mind around the idea that like there had to be other authors out there writing about dragons and whatnot. But
I
there's
don't think it really got big until they started doing D&D. What was the guy that invented Dungeons and Dragons? I can't remember
forgot.
his name, but I think it with that
Gary Gygax.
Gary Gygax.
Lawrence.
That's it.
Mhm.
Gygax is like the
74.
bulk.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it's after. What's up? Homie Cody is here. And it was like I think
no, I'm Brad, the bad
that's,
wizard.
That's Brad Dolph.
Brad.
I didn't even
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he like I think that was when it became, because you had like bands writing songs about like Black Sabbath's The Wizard, that's
Yeah.
loosely about Gandalf.
But clearly Lord of the Rings was like like how
it
did
was
when
it
it
wasn't
first
popular when it first came out. It was like when the hippies found it was when it like
That's when it took off.
really popped off.
surprisingly hippies usually ruin everything, so glad they didn't.
They did it okay. They didn't treat it like the
Yeah.
housing market, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Similar to what you're saying, he had this was shown up. There was a group of friends. They were all kind of
Yes.
lighting up these fans.
Yeah.
They call it high fans.
Well, one of his
Oh,
best
okay.
friends was C.S. Lewis.
Yes, that's the man I was.
Yeah, C.S. Lewis was one of his best friends. He was actually the reason he became much more religious. I think the second half of his life was because Lewis was like a devout Catholic.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. C.S. Lewis was like,
So there definitely were people writing in like more like fantastical types of worlds, just
Yeah.
not specifically with
yeah. I think it was they were still figuring it out literarily, like what works, what doesn't.
what was when they first released it though, Kendall? What was like some of the immediate responses?
Yeah,
Was there
tell
any-
us
any-
what some
yeah.
of the feedback like.
Was it kind of just lost and people just went over people's heads,
They were
or
calling it like purely childish fairy tales.
Yeah.
Similar to I can't remember if it was George Lucas or not H.R. Geiger. I think it was George Lucas who was struggling to write science fiction. Science fiction was not yet popular.
Yeah.
No, I mean you
Also-
basically had Dune and
Yeah,
like,
it's
you know,
a
Philip
tale.
K. Dick and stuff.
There's
But
a-
those were more like sci-fi as like cautionary tales to like, hey, don't let the world get like this.
yeah.
Anything medieval fantasy and sci-fi.
It was viewed as like a
Childish, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you're right.
Huh.
If you read Lord of the Rings, is not a childish
No,
book.
that is
The
not.
Hobbit. What year did
Well,
the Hobbit come out?
was
in?
a children's book. The Hobbit was late. It was like early 40, mid 40.
Before Lord of the Rings, though.
Oh yeah. For sure.
1937.
37 was when the Hobbit was, because the Hobbit, I believe, started out as just him developing a story like for his kids.
Yeah, he was telling you
Like bedtime stories.
Bedtime stories for Christopher.
Yeah. Or who ended up
Chris-
taking up the mantle and like just running with it and being awesome.
Gosh, it's so because like right now, if you go down to any bookstore, there's 8 million books of fantasies and
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
in 1954. It is widely credited as a work that finally caused people and for Wizards and the Academy to take high fantasy.
Yeah, it really was. It was kind of like because it was so in depth, it was so flushed out.
Well, I mean, it's seriously like
It wasn't like it clearly was not like
Yeah.
I mean the Hobbit, yes, but like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, that is not easy reading.
There's
And the
also like,
Silmarillion is definitely not easy reading.
there's
that's-
also just explanations that go along with the
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings that you're like, oh, this is a serious
I mean,
book.
he had an entire appendix just to in the appendix. Like some people don't even realize the hobbits, their names that they use, like Samwise Gamgee, Frodo Baggins, Peregrine Took, Mariotic Brandybuck. Those they had secret names too. They had hobbitish names that you don't find in the book. They're in the appendix.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but same thing with the dwarves. The dwarves had their they spoke in the dwarvish language was Kuzdul, but
What's that?
Kuzdul.
Who's do? All right.
But they had secret names that were only within they were only spoken
within their
within
with
their
their people.
and sometimes only spoken within their families.
Yeah. Sam and his father Ham.
Yeah.
Called Ban and Ran.
Ban and Ran.
Like Cockney rhyming stuff.
It probably was. It probably had like a Cockney, like Welsh
Short
influences.
Run.
Yeah,
Wait,
they
that's
had
their real names?
Yeah, those are their hobbitish names. Yeah,
Samwise.
yeah,
Half-wise.
and I think and that's sort of like a dwarven thing too.
Yeah.
It's really it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like that's a level of imagination that
And this is a level of quality of in-depth Lord of the Rings information you get from our show.
Yeah.
Who would have known
among
that?
silliness.
Who would have known that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they all have extra names, huh?
But yeah, you were saying like something about Smaug and the dragons, like the first dragon was Glaurung, and Glaurung was huge,
You
but
said like 4 football fields long or something.
yeah,
huge
he
like
was
that.
massive.
That's
But
like
he was a worm. He had no wings. He
Yep.
was a ground-based dragon, but he was very wise, and he did have magical ability. He could put spells over people, like in the Sons of Húrin. It's the tale of Tur.
yeah.
And his life is cursed, and he ends up killing his best friend Beleg Strongbow.
Yikes.
in it's purely an accident in like a fit of rage in the dark where he's
Mhm.
injured and he wakes up and he kills him because he doesn't realize. And but Glaurung is the one that put the spell on his sister and made her realize that it made her forget everything. And then Tur ends up meeting his sister later, and they actually fall in love and get married because he's never seen her because he left home,
Yeah.
and she had no idea who he was, and he only finds out when Tur finally kills Glaurung. Glaurung reveals the secret. I think it's like to her and something else, and she finds out that she's actually married to her brother, and it's her brother Tur, and he gives her memories back as like this last sort of crappy punishment, and she remembers and then kills herself, and then Tur wakes up after he's injured, finds her dead, and then he finds out the truth, and then he throws himself on his own sword.
That's like some Romeo and Juliet
It's
shit.
it's a horribly tragic
Yeah.
story. It's if you want to read, it's the Children of Húrin.
Let's bring this
it's-
back up next week and talk a little bit more about it because it's very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a really good story.
Well, I mean, we've done our hour here, so we're gonna wrap this thing up here.
Yeah.
Two
Toot, toot.
wizards, one card.
Toot toot the doot doot. Got toot toot the doot doot. Don't forget to go buy your
Yeah,
7 Witches,
magic sticks.
Get
We
your
get-
incense.
We got
Get your incense.
yeah. So we'll be back next week.
Bradolph makes it in his bathtub.
Signing off. Signing off. I gotta get some Totino's.
See, now you learned something about Bradolph. He doesn't like Mama Cosie's pizza rolls.
No,
and
Totino's
he
only,
makes
baby.
incense in his bathtub.
Totino's only. Brad Doff out.